What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bald Eagle. Your boy Tony B, a.k.a. the Birdman, a.k.a. everybody's favorite villain. Hold up, man. Hold up. Nah. We can't start this off like that. It's the first time on this cotton-picking show. I was going to say something else. That the Eagles won. So, hey, man. Hey, Tim P. Hey, run that shit back, man. Run that shit back, man. Yeah. We don't own rights to this music. Don't worry. It was in my, you know what I'm saying, my 1986 Rocky flow. When he beat up Ivan Drago, you know. Yeah. Alright. But as I was saying, this is a Bald Eagle. Welcome to those of you who are watching. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all tonight. I'm super tired, so we just going to get to it. I ain't going to take up too much of y'all time. I got to work. I got to be up at 4 a.m. tomorrow and basically working nonstop for a while, you know, basically being an adult. So we all know that sucks. But anyway, let's get to it, man. We got a lot to talk about tonight. First thing off top, I would like to say that in these first 4 weeks in the NFL, we're a quarter into the season this year, and I would like to say that the NFL has set a new record. Yes. Teams' combined points is at an all-time high in NFL history. This is what no training camp or a little bit of training camp and no preseason gets you. Advantage offense every time. They know where they're going. 51.3 points is a new NFL record if this holds up. It will surpass the record in 2018 that I believe was 48.1 points. So, I mean, obviously some sloppy defense out there. We'll get to it. I'm not saying offenses aren't potent this year, but I'm just saying, no training camp or very little training camp will get you that. All right, I'm going to recap the scores from last week. Denver beat the Jets 37-28. No surprise there. I mean, I hate to say this. Shout out to my boy Ryan Davis. But man, the Jets are looking terrible. I'm not even going to harp on that. Of course, Baltimore beat up on Washington, which we couldn't do. I'm not trying to insult Washington. I'm just saying Baltimore was pissed because they lost that game the week before. And I feel like if they could have drew almost anybody, and it would have been the same result. Baltimore's still a pretty solid football team. Tampa Bay beat the Chargers 38-31. I told you this guy would not sleep until he gets it. 5 touchdown passes. In my eyes, Brady's a GOAT. Whatever. Okay. Seattle beat Miami 31-23. I thought that game would be at least a double-digit win by Seattle, if not a couple touchdowns. Miami hung in there, you know, but L's a L, I guess. Minnesota beat Houston in the battle of winless teams. Of course, Houston ended up firing their coach. We'll get to that a little bit later. Well-deserved, by the way. New Orleans beat Detroit in a close one, 35-29. Sorry, Pops. Cleveland beat Dallas in a shootout, 49-38. We'll get back to that game here in a minute, too. The Bengals got their first win of the season, 33-25 against the Jags. Arizona, second straight loss. Carolina, second straight win. Carolina beat Arizona 31-21. JP and Marcus, what up? Y'all don't understand, like we in this little chat thing, you know, with about 4 or 5 of us, and it gets a little ruthless on there at times. You can imagine that. And, you know, one was a Panthers fan, one was a Cardinals fan. Hey, I ain't have a horse in the race, but I enjoyed looking at, you know, the trolling part of it. But whatever, shout out to them. The Chargers beat the Giants 17-9, no surprise there. The Giants just, you know, with the injury to Barkley, that just kind of crippled that team, honestly. Buffalo goes to 4-0 after they beat Las Vegas, the Raiders, 30-23. Indiana, man, they playing good defense in Indy. We'll get to that here in a little bit. They beat Chicago 19-11. And my boys, yeah, Eagles beat San Francisco 25-20. There was a lot of people out for San Francisco, but I really don't even need to go into the injuries that we had. The way I see it, they still put the better product out there. And, you know, any given Sunday. Monday we had 2 games due to COVID. We all know what happened there. But anyway, KC beat New England 26-10. And it's ironic that I'm talking about this, but I'm talking about bad calls going against New England now. You know, we all know they done got some favorable calls. I mean, we all know about the little Spygate or whatever the fuck they was doing. So do I feel sorry for them? Absolutely not. But that was some horrible officiating in that game. First of all, Patrick Mahomes, yeah, that was an interception. I mean, that was clearly an interception. And then they blew the whistle and didn't even know if they was calling the ball dead or incomplete, or they didn't know what the fuck they was doing. But they blew the whistle. And then come to find out there's an incomplete pass. Bill Belichick is sitting over there steaming, yelling at the refs instead of trying to find out what the exact call is for the whistle, which I understand because it was a bullshit call. Yeah, that could have turned the whole game around. Also, that guy for the Patriots was not out of bounds. I just seen a clip of it. I didn't watch much of the game, but I did see those 2 plays. It was just horrible. I mean, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Some might call it karma. It is what it is. Green Bay went to 4-0. That's the good part. The bad part is the Falcons went to 0-4. I'm just really waiting for them to fire their coach. I don't understand why they haven't. I knew Bill O'Brien for Houston was going, but for Quinn to still be there is amazing. Green Bay beat them 30-16. So that was last week. That Dallas and Cleveland game was probably one of the better games. It was 38-14 Cleveland. And, you know, I ain't gonna bullshit with you. I was over here watching it. And I was like, shit, well, I might as well go to the garage. This ain't no game. I got to the garage and got settled in. And it was, all of a sudden, it was back to being a game. And here's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people are talking about Dak Prescott, about these record-setting stats, about how he's doing so good, which, you know, I'm not going to say he's not doing good, but here's some stats. For you, John Hewitt, and for you, Cowboy Nation, this ain't me hating. This is me keeping it real. This is me telling the truth. I tell the truth about my own team all the time. We'll get to Mr. Carson Wentz here in a minute. I'm not down in your QB, but facts are facts. I said it. He be stat padding, which basically means that you're getting beat 38-14. You're not going to be running the ball. Not only are you not going to be running the ball, but the other team is probably going to be on the softer end of playing coverage. Coaches aren't stupid. They're going to call plays for basically zones, which means, I mean, with a 38-14 lead, that's shooting fish in a barrel. Don't believe me, believe the stats. Now, I understand that the Cowboys have played behind a lot this year. Okay. Well, I'm going to start off with this. 1,546 passing yards playing behind this year by Dak Prescott. 133 yards tied. What does that tell you? It tells you two things. One thing, they ain't in the lead that much. So what are they doing a lot? They're throwing. That also tells you that a lot of these games they've been getting blown out in and came back in, a lot of that was soft coverage and stat padding, shooting fish in the barrel. Is it his fault? No, it's his defense fault for being soft. I get it. I'm not even saying the dude's not good because he's solid. But come on, man. Stop the madness. He's not in the MVP conversation. Just stop it. First quarter, passing yards, 370. Second quarter, 333. Third quarter, 356. So, you see how those are somewhat around in the neighborhood of each other? You might catty corner from each other, around the corner. They live on the same block, them numbers. Okay. Fourth quarter, 631. But he's not stat padding, according to Cowboys fans. Not only is he not stat padding, but he should also be in the MVP conversation when your team is 1-3. And this is why we make fun of you. I'm not saying all of you have said this, but a few of you have online, and only Dallas fans. That's all I'm going to say. Again, they haven't played ahead a lot. But this is his QB rating. When they're ahead, 66.7. When they're tied, 87.8. That's a big difference. But I'm not done. Ahead by 1 to 8 points, 66.7. Same as being ahead, because they haven't actually led by that much this entire year. Behind 1 to 8 points, 102.3. Behind 9 to 16 points, 107 QB rating. That's all I'm going to say. Cowboys fans will turn it into he's some type of Captain Comeback or something. I just see it for what it is. I would say the same damn thing if it was Carson Wentz. Good effort. Absolutely. Does he show heart? Absolutely. Is he a solid quarterback? Absolutely. But to act like he's not stat padding somewhat is just unreal. Like I said, only Cowboys fans. Speaking of the QB experts, let me get to the Chicago Bears. Because, last week it was all good just a week ago. Everybody tagging me and stuff. Oh, Nick Foles, I bet you miss Nick Foles. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Stop it. I told you then. I told you last week. I'll tell you this week. Nick Foles is not the answer for you guys. I love Nick. Do you see my wall? Nick is on my wall. And rightfully so. But if you think back to that season, when he came in for Carson Wentz when he won the Super Bowl, did he help us win the Super Bowl? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do I appreciate him forever for that? Abso-fucking-lutely. And one of these games I was at live in Philly, so you can't tell me shit about this. The other games I watch every single snap of. There was 2 regular season games left leading up to that Super Bowl season. And he has absolutely stunk it up. First playoff game against the Falcons, absolutely stunk it up. Caught fire against the Vikings, caught coals against the Patriots, we win the Super Bowl. I'm forever grateful for that. We come back the next year, opening game, Super Bowl celebration trophy, all that. There ended up being a game delay because of lightning. I was there in Philly. He absolutely stunk it up. He did okay against Tampa Bay the next week, and then the following week, absolutely stunk it up. Which in turn, they rush Carson Wentz back, which in turn, he gets injured again. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Anyway, Nick Foles against Atlanta. He's good in certain situations. He came in, he got his crack, he was excited last week against Atlanta. He did a hell of a job. 19 for 29, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 188 yards. This is all in like a quarter and a half or whatever. 95 QB rating against Indy, starting, which Indy's got a pretty solid defense. 249 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 26 of 42. QB rating 76.4. I also told Bears fans coming into the season, you guys don't have the type of offensive line that Nick Foles needs to succeed. He ain't very mobile, as you can see. You guys are going to get him killed out there. I'll make a somewhat bold prediction, not so bold prediction, and whatever you want to call it. The Bears are going to have to end up going back to Trubisky. I said it here. You don't believe me? Whatever. Neither one of them is good for you for the future. But I'm just saying, they finna go back to Trubisky. Mark my words. Okay. Speaking of QBs, Mr. Wentz. 18 to 28, 193 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 rushing touchdown, which is his 3rd straight game with a rushing touchdown. There's been a lot of talk about him leading up to that game. I was 1,000% satisfied with his effort. The 1 interception he had, he got tipped or whatever, whatever. Shit happens. But let's be for real here. For what he had to work with, that was a pretty solid game by him. There's a couple mistakes he made, but for the most part, given what he had, he played pretty solid. It is what it is. It's a week-to-week basis with him. He already has 7 interceptions, which is the same amount the last 3 years. So, definitely still got to cut down on turnovers, man. I'm proud of my defense. Here's some stats for you that's kind of mind-boggling about the Eagles' defense. Number 1 in sacks. Number 9 in yards allowed. Number 5 on yards per play allowed. Number 5 on third down conversion, which we all know as football fans, third down is important. My man, Jordan Militia, I was really, really, really hard on Jordan Militia because he's the one that had that false start penalty to where we couldn't kick the field goal last week. If y'all don't know this dude is massive, like 6'7" and 6 or something like that. 340 pounds. He was a rugby star, and we got him like 3 years ago, I believe. And he's just been a work in progress. And he actually got his first start last week against the 49ers. And he did excellent. Of course he jumps off sides once. Of course he does. But 0 sacks given up. 0 quarterback hits given up. I think it was only 2 pressures. He had the 2nd highest grade for a lineman in Philadelphia that game. First was Lane Johnson. So, Lane's the man to get on that level on your first start. Hopefully he continues and gets better, man. He'd be good for us. All right, undefeated teams remaining. Bills, Seattle, Titans, KC, and Pittsburgh. Winless teams. Houston, which fired their coach. Jets, Falcons, and Giants. And I've been talking about Houston and saying I was going to go back to them. Real quick. Houston has the highest payroll in the NFL. They pay out more than anybody else to their players in the NFL. I believe it was $255 million, something around there. Bill O'Brien was the GM and the coach, which rarely ever works. A few people have done it, and people like Andy Reid. He's a Hall of Fame coach, though. And he knows how to draft. So, Bill O'Brien is the coach and the GM. Not only does he get rid of Clowney for a 3rd-round pick, not only does he trade DeAndre Hopkins because they couldn't get along. Come on, man. DeAndre Hopkins leads the league in receiving yards right now. And he basically gave him away for, at best, solid running back with what he's got left in David Johnson. But, I mean, come on, man. Not only that, but their first and second round picks go to the Dolphins in next year's draft. So you tell me what kind of job he did as a GM. As a coach, he won 3 or 4 division titles. I get it, but them type of moves just cripple a team, man. Just absolutely cripple a team. Look for the Falcons coach to get fired next. Rushing leaders, top 5, Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, Nick Chubb, who unfortunately got injured. I believe he's out, up to 6 weeks with an MCL. Yeah, that's tough, man. Derrick Henry and Joe Mixon. So, that's the top 5. Clyde Edwards-Helaire comes in at a close 6, the rookie. Offensive leaders passing, Prescott, Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan, and Aaron Rodgers. Top 5 right there in passing. Already discussed Prescott. To me, the next 3 guys that I mentioned, not Matt Ryan. Sorry, Nick. Josh Allen, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers. Either one of those 3 could be named MVP this year. And I'll get to that here in a second, but yeah. Receiving, Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, who the Eagles definitely should have drafted. Amari Cooper, DeAndre Hopkins, and Terry McLaurin. I'm sorry, DeAndre Hopkins does not lead the league in receiving. He is in the top 5 in receiving. My bad. Okay, so the reason why I mentioned DK Metcalf, because sorry-ass Howie Roseman, who is our GM, decided to draft J.J. Arcega-Whiteside instead of DK Metcalf. That's why you see that dude be getting roasted on Twitter and shit. He literally has no catches for a year, I don't think. Sack leaders, Zadarius Smith, Myles Garrett, Aldon Smith, Justin Houston for Indiana, and Akeem Nicks. Now, Smith is in the lead with 5, tied with Garrett. The other 3 guys I mentioned have 4. And then there's a list of 6 more with like 3.5, including Brandon Graham, who has 3. So that would lead out your top 10. There's 6, 7 other guys with the same amount of sacks. So that is what it is. Getting a lot of opportunities to have sacks because apparently everybody's throwing the ball and points are just going crazy this year. All right. So, what I wanted to say and what I've been wanting to say on here is, I don't get too political on here, and I'm still not going to get too political. I think we all know by now where we stand, where I stand anyway, and where the majority of my viewers probably stand. And if they don't, I appreciate you watching, and that's fine. And no need to turn it off or whatever because I'm not getting too political, but here's my thing. You got all these people running on the internet. All these people, well, I don't watch the NFL. Oh, hell, I don't watch the NBA. Blah, blah, blah. I don't watch that. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, we get it. There's no need for y'all to come online and tell us that you don't watch this sport of football because of what they do before the opening kickoff. What type of sense does that make? Please leave those comments out of my inbox, and now that you know who you are, I'm not going to mention anybody by name because it's not that serious, but I'm going to just tell you because you may be watching this, and this is proof that I've asked you to not do that anymore. I've had a couple of people, inbox me, well, I would watch your show, but I don't support the NFL. Bro, just don't watch my show. You know what it's about over here. I do this for fun. I enjoy the sport of football. I enjoy what they're doing before the game. And I more than enjoy, I appreciate what they're doing before the game. Ain't no need to inbox me if you don't watch football and make it a point to tell me that you don't watch the NFL because of the kneeling. Because then, if I care enough about it, you're going to start a whole nother conversation that I just refuse to get into with people anymore, because if you don't understand by now, you don't want to understand. So please, keep those comments out of my inbox. In sacks. But, start. Okay, I mentioned sacks earlier, and I didn't give you the sacks per game leaders or anything like that, which I do apologize. Forgive me, I've been up for about 12 hours. But sacks per game, Pittsburgh, who the Eagles do host next week, or they host us, home game. 5 sacks a game. That doesn't vote well for us because obviously our offensive line is banged up. They did a really solid job against the 49ers, but this is a whole nother evil. Get ready, boys. But we ain't half-stepping because we're second with 4.2 a game. Tampa, Washington is tied at 3 with 3.5 a game, and the Rams are 5th with 3.0, mainly due to Aaron Donald. The bottom 5, Tennessee, which is surprising, only gets 1.3 sacks a game. Detroit, which is not surprising, 1.2. Jacksonville and Vegas and Carolina run off the bottom, 1.0, 1.0, and 0.8, which Carolina's 2-2. But clearly they're not getting enough pressure on the quarterback, which, hey, whatever's working for you right now, whatever. All right. Top 5 defenses overall. Shout out to my boy Ford. The Ravens is number 1. Surprisingly, the Chiefs are number 2. The Colts are number 3. 49ers are 4, and the Chargers are 5th. Without Derwin James, too, that dude is... Woo! If they had him, they would probably be 2 or 1. I mean, he's that good of a player. The bottom 5 is the Saints, Texans, Cowboys at 30, Vikings at 31, which is puzzling because their staple usually is defense, especially these last couple of years. I mean, they've had some solid receivers, but puzzling. What is not puzzling is who is last, which is the Falcons. Before I looked this up, I would have thought the Cowboys were last and the Falcons were 31st, but I was wrong. That's why you got to look it up. You just can't assume. Rushing defenses. This doesn't vote well for the Eagles either. Pittsburgh is number 1 in rushing defense, followed by Tampa, Seattle, Indy, and then rounded out top 5 with Cleveland. The bottom 5, Kansas City at 28, which is weird because they're number 2 overall, but they're 28th against the rush. Obviously, they got great pass defense. Okay. Tennessee and Detroit at 30. Dallas at 31 against the run, and Houston is last against the run. Against the pass, Indy is first. I'm telling you, Indy's got a really solid squad they're building over there. They play really good defense over there so far. San Francisco's number 2 against the pass. KC's number 3. Washington is 4. And Houston is, oddly, 5 against the pass. I mean, that's something to build on, I guess. You wouldn't believe who was last against the pass. Seattle. Strange. Very, very strange. As good as they are. Which now I'm going to round out the show by talking about this MVP race, because I kind of feel like it could get pretty heated towards the end of the year if it keeps up like this, barring no injuries to no one. But I'm going to start off with Russell Wilson. He's got 1,285 yards passing, completing 75% of his passes. Unreal. 16 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Rodgers passed for 1,214, 70%, still unreal. 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Josh Allen for Buffalo. This kid's he started to peak last year. You kind of tell he was going to be way better this year, but I didn't think he was going to be this good. 1,326 yards passing, 70%, 13 touchdowns, 1 interception. Mahomes, 1,134 yards. We all know Mahomes. Pretty pat. 67% completion percentage, 11 TDs, 0 interceptions. So, between 4 dudes, we literally have 3 interceptions so far. I mean, I know it's early, but 4 quarterbacks combined for 3 interceptions, and one of them, Russell Wilson, who might be the MVP, has 2 of those 3. People want to talk about rushing only because you got Wilson in the MVP race, you got Allen in the MVP race, which that's one of Allen's strong suits, but running can also hurt you, like literally and figuratively, because with him running so much, none of these other quarterbacks have fumbles except for Josh Allen, and he's already had 3 fumbles in 4 games. I'm an Eagles fan. I know about Wentz. I know about quarterbacks fumbling at the wrong time, and I tell you what, he better learn how to protect that ball. That's the only thing I see. But honestly, in my opinion, if you want my opinion, and I always go by MVP is in a sense like, you gotta think, I've always thought of it 2 ways. One way is, if he went down, how would his team do? Okay. Second way I look at it, what does he have around him? And if you look at that and combine those 2 things, obviously any team will be hurt without these guys. But to me, right now, Aaron Rodgers is an MVP simply because he's doing it with less. You know, Josh Allen is a young stud, I get it. But he's got Diggs over there. Mahomes might be the most talented quarterback I've ever seen in my life. But look who his coach is. Look at all those weapons over there. I mean, Russell Wilson, he's got hella weapons. I mean, do I need to name all those weapons? I mean, we all know his weapons. We all know Mahomes' weapons. We know that Josh Allen now has Diggs. Rodgers, yeah, he has Devontae Adams, and he's got one hell of a running back behind him, but Adams hasn't played the last couple of days, and this isn't the first time we've seen this. Aaron Rodgers, besides a couple years as far as Russell Wilson, but he wasn't on Aaron Rodgers' level then. Aaron Rodgers has always done more with less. That's why they never draft receivers over there. They have that luxury in Green Bay every year to pass on receivers because their quarterback is so good. It's just unreal. Next week's games, I'm taking Tampa Bay over Chicago. I'm taking the Chargers over to Washington. Buffalo and Tennessee. I'm going to take Buffalo. Sorry, Sed. Shout out to my boy Sed, though. Philly and Pitt. This is what I wanted to talk about. You know, I tried to get my mom to come on the show. She was scared, you know. I think she had to do something but church, but she was really praying for a win because she know we about to whoop the Steelers' ass. So, Mom, if you watching this, I hope you say a prayer for the Steelers and me. And maybe my quarterback, because the way it looks, you might get to him. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him. But I'm finna win, and we can bet that. Arizona at the Jets. Boy, I'll tell you what. Arizona's been slumping lately, but they got to be good enough to beat the Jets. I'll take Arizona. The Raiders at KC. As much as I'd love to take the Raiders, I feel like a division team is going to beat KC first. I was almost right early with the Chargers. This could be one of those games, but highly doubtful. I'll take KC. I'll take Jacksonville over Houston. I will also, in an upset, take Cincinnati over Baltimore. I said it. I actually take Atlanta to get their first win this week against Carolina. I changed my mind at the last moment. I'll take San Francisco to beat Miami because they're going to be pissed off because they took that against us. The Giants at the Cowboys. I'm never going to take the Cowboys on this show. I'm sorry. I'm taking the fucking Giants. And I don't even like the Giants either. I just like them a little bit more than I would ever like you guys, which is like this much. I would never like you guys. Just life. I'm taking Seattle to beat Minnesota on the Sunday night game. I'm definitely taking New England to beat Denver. And on the Monday night game, I'm looking for the Saints to win. The Dog Food Award this week goes to the state of Texas. Why does it go to the state of Texas? Because for number one, Texas got upset in college football. Number two, the Texans hired Bill O'Brien, which obviously just crumbled the entire franchise. It was on the up and up. And it goes to the Cowboys because your defense is literally losing games for you. And I don't feel sorry for your offense because it's the Cowboys, but it's the truth. You deserve the Dog Food Award. Yes, Philly even agrees with me this week. Yes, sir. Birdman out, baby.